You go.
Hello everybody, Jimbob here. Today I'm doing my first ever live stream out in the garden. And I'm really excited to show you how the garden's going at the minute, all the plants I've got growing, all the things I've changed, and actually the general size of the garden, because I haven't really done this before, but it's always been quite dark. When I made my previous video on the garden tour, it's always been very dark, and I just wanted to show it in a when it was lighter. So I hope everybody's feeling good. I'm here with Michael.
Hello.
He's going to be helping me with the chat today. Since it's my first live stream, I just sort of asked him if he would like to collab today, and he said yes. That's cool. Okay, so here we have the gate. I do need to do some work to this latch. There's a few problems with it, where the screws come out here, but it works, and yeah, I'm not too fussed. This plant here is a plant that I need identifying for me, because it's, as you can see, it's growing across. It's here and it's growing across this mess.
So Malcolm Allotment Journey is saying hi.
Hello. I need to just quickly get the chat. Malcolm Allotment Journey. Hello. I'll go and check your channel out after the stream. I don't think I've met you before. So hello.
Green Ravens here.
Hello, Laura. How are you? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this plant is, but it's really nice. I've got a cutting somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here we go. I've submerged it in water because it wasn't doing very well. I'll put it somewhere. Here it is. I submerged it in water because it wasn't doing very well with this dry weather, and it's perked up a little bit. So I'm hoping it's gonna be fine. Should be, but it seems to have rooted really well. It's not rotted or done anything like that, so I'm not quite sure what it is, but it looks interesting. I'm just going to give it a bit more water. Right, there we go. So this is, and you're about to see a mess that is horrible. Ta-da! It's not very tidy at all. It's really bad on my part. However, I will add that we have just moved in, and the garden hasn't really been on the top of my priority lists, considering the house needs a lot of work doing to it. So, yeah, it's everything that's mine has been put out here, but all the bags of plant pots and that, I do have a storage space for them. That's down the back of the polytunnel there. I call it a polytunnel. It's a tiny mini greenhouse, which we'll get onto in a minute. So we have a glass table here. It's got dirty because I was sowing some seeds today outside. And that's the table that was in the big greenhouse. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go along and check out some of my old videos from my previous home. And pretty much every video has featured that table. So I purchased some teak oil to oil the table up with. It's a wood preservative. So I'm going to give that a go on one of my videos, putting wood preservative on there, putting a little bit on the gate. Don't think it needs it, but we could just do with a little bit, I think, just so it lasts, because it's a fairly new gate by the looks of it. Okay, what else? So, oh yeah, and as well that bench that looks fairly, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does, Laura. Yeah, so this bench is fairly old, but I want to put some oil on here just to make sure that doesn't rot. It's been fairly dry, so I'm going to give that a go at some point. This here, this is starting to come out. See, just there, it's starting to green up. So I don't know what it is again, but we shall see when it comes out. I did do a little bit of pruning earlier on this year when I arrived, so that's going to be interesting to see what it is. I'm hoping it's going to be something like an apple tree, or like a dwarf apple tree that I can use, but I've got a funny feeling it's a rose, because I know that the previous owner was fairly fond of roses, but a lot of the roses were diseased, so I've taken quite a lot out down there, a lot of the roses out that were down here. So yeah, that was just suppose it has been left untouched for 2 years. Ray's allotment is saying good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ray. How are you? It's Ricky's channel. You live on Coronation Street. It does, yes. It does look like that. Especially down the back here. Hanging in the bush. Hanging in the bush. Oh, that is for clothes pegs, because we haven't actually got a washing line up yet. Well, we're not going to have a washing line up yet because we just bought a tumble dryer, so that's just been put there. Just basically put there to keep it somewhere, which is not good. I'll take that down, actually. Thank you for reminding me, because that'll just fill it with water and clothes pegs. Oh, there's a bee in there. Hello. It could be. Is it bee or wasp? No, bee. Gunnel. Okay. Gardens. Malcolm saying gardens always a work in progress. Yes, indeed. Eventually, I think we'll get there. Eventually. Yeah, there's that tree at the back there. I think that's a conifer of some kind. I quite like that little bush there. So I'm going to. I don't know if you can take cuttings of them. I don't know. That's another question for you guys. If you can take cuttings of conifers, please let me know, because I can actually do that. You can.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, what would they root best in water or?
No, soil. You want to take them in soil, but I'm pretty sure you can root them.
Okay. In here is the little greenhouse. So. In here is a little greenhouse. I have my potting station here with some garden essentials. So I just been sowing some seeds today. I sowed the Salvia Scarlet Beauty from Frankie Seeds from Italy. You know, with all this forest going on, that'll be good at it. So here's the seeds, and this seed dressing here that I've put on top is, I don't know if I've got it actually inside, it might be outside. It's a bit like vermiculite, but it's a lot cheaper to purchase. So that's interesting. As well, what I'm doing today, I don't know if I've got a petunia cascade mixed F1. Here they are. Now, as you can see, I've only dusted half of the tray. Well, not even that, maybe a quarter. That is because the seeds are really fine, and outside in the wind, some of them blew away, which is unfortunate. But luckily, I've managed to get a few in, and the seed dressing is really useful, considering petunias need light to germinate. So these are the rest of my geraniums. I haven't potted on yet. I don't think I will, just because I've run out of space. It's a real shame. Yes, Laura, the alleyway is shared with the neighbours. Yes, so there's, I think, like 20 houses in total here. What else? Yeah, so these are all the geraniums potted on, and I think they were a little bit stressed, as you can see some of the red leaves there. I think some of them are a little bit stressed. Some of the leaves are rotting. I want to take them off, actually. I'll do that now. Just access is kind of difficult in here, especially. Let's just take that one off there.
So, Jimbob, are you planning on growing any more flowers or vegetables and things in your polytunnel this year?
Yes, absolutely. So if you look at the video I just uploaded, I did my seed order, and in there I've showed you all the seeds I'm going to sow. So one of the big ones, I've got 2 varieties of marigolds to be sowed. There is going to be a shelf that goes up there, so I'm going to have more space. There's going to be some marigolds that are sowed, and also some for ornamentals. We have delphiniums, that's it. Delphiniums, marigolds, cineraria, and a few others for ornamentals. For vegetables, I've quite a lot. I can't remember all of them, but tomatoes, cabbage, cut and come again, lettuce, and I think peppers. I think maybe a few more, but I'm not quite sure. So here are my compost. I have my seed sowing compost in here, and I think I really like it. It's really nice, and this bag was on offer for £2, so I just couldn't resist. Really, it was a really good deal. But usually, what's fairly expensive, a seed compost. Seed composts are generally expensive. And then my multi-purpose. So you can see it is fine, but it does have bits of root in it, and occasionally you will get the odd bit of wood. So for those that like a finer compost, because I know some people prefer compost with a bit more woodiness to it, if that makes sense, but obviously not big bits of bark, then this compost probably wouldn't be for you. But for those like me that prefer a finer compost, definitely this is the compost to choose. Right, what else? Oh yes, I am going down. So in here, there's a propagator. Is some of my coleus wizard. So these haven't germinated yet, but I've watered them today, and they're in this propagator. So some people in the chat are saying, use compost bag on the bottom of the mushroom tray and water from below. Okay, that's really useful. What else? No good deals in the US right now. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I don't know what is compost really expensive over there, because I'm fairly sure Miracle Grow is a fairly big brand over there, and another one called Fox. Is it Fox Farm or Fox? I'm quite sure. Oh, Ginnel. Okay, so it's Rick saying, I just realised I spelled Ginnel wrong. So is that what that plant, that shrub, is that I had the plastic tub hanging on? Ray's allotment garden. Jack's magic. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some fairly good results with it from using it.
So Jimbob,
yeah.
Do you have any projects that you're planning on doing, or building any raised beds or anything?
Now, I was going to. This is the problem. I was going to buy a second perspex greenhouse or a glass house and put it here where this mess is, but my mum has other plans. And she would rather have this space looking nice and the ability to be able to sit out. So I've had to obviously accommodate her needs as well, because it's not just my garden, unfortunately. So obviously I can't put the greenhouse up there, but my other plan is to grow some of my plants outside when summer really kicks off. So my plan is to extend this wall outwards with a like a floorboard or just a shelf, a bit of wood, because we've got lots of floorboards from the house, so just maybe put them out of it, and then make some shelves in here that are big enough to put mushroom trays on, and just step them in up here. That is the plan eventually. And then on here I want to do the same, and then I can have grow bags at the top, on the top of the wall here, and some shelving down the side here. So that's really all there is to show in the garden at the moment, other than around the back of here. I have been trying to eradicate a disease that has caused a few problems here in the past by the looks of things. That is black spot and various other funguses. Fungi. There we go. Fungi infections. So here we go. That's black spot, rust, and something else. Just general rot, I think. So after I've been giving this plant some treatment, it's actually starting to perk up a little bit. I am going to just give it another dose in a second. And down here, in here, there's lots of plant pots, and they're all terracotta plant pots, not plastic plant pots. That's fine. So I just want to eventually dig around in there, but I think this is sort of a wildflower bed, so it looks quite nice. So I probably won't, but eventually, I'd like to get around to actually being able to use it at some point productively. Ginnel, the narrow pathway between the back of your houses. Between the back of your house. Yes, that's true. Okay, I didn't know that. So thank you very much for letting you know of that word. Good use for pallets. Good use for pallets. Yeah, it would be actually putting pallet wood up there. Thank you for giving me that idea. I didn't consider that, considering my rant on Michael's live stream about people wasting pallets. I didn't actually consider that.
Hello, Nick.
I will definitely use that. Hello, Nick. Nice to see you coming along in the stream. So, I don't think there's much else to show you. Oh, yes, here's the rose, the Alexander rose. I've done a video on planting it. And just following on from that, I haven't uploaded that video yet. So I will get on and do that. I don't want to upload them all at the same time. That's the problem. So this is following on, really. And it's started to open up. So when the video comes out, if you do decide to watch it, you'll see that actually it wasn't looking nearly as good as this, and it's really poked up, which is really nice.
Remember to leave a like.
I think back here I have some mint plants just sitting outside in the back alleyway. Also, I have this mess. Pardon me. So it is apparent that with renovating the house has come a lot of mess and stuff. All these here were in the garden originally, so I've taken them all out, and I'm not just going to throw them away because I believe I can reuse them, or somebody else can reuse them. So I'm going to be giving these away to some neighbours and friends. These are actually quite nice.
Yeah, you could probably use the ones with the frame on the back for sweet peas or something.
I could, yes, that's actually a really good idea. And I could put these out the back here. My plan is to have my potatoes growing out the back here in grow sacks. In like, they're basically bags about this high, full of soil and other things. Soil, I fill it with soil. This manure mix, it's called Humix. And I fill it with that. If I get a space organizer, you can fit a storage container for planting. Yes, in here I could, and out here as well. It's just at the minute, it's all a bit hectic because I've got to sow the seeds. I've got to start sowing all my seeds, and also I've been actually quite busy having my dad renovate the house at the minute, so it's all, this has sort of been put on the back burner at the minute. Nick's saying he'd definitely use the pots again. Yeah, I mean, they're perfectly usable pots. Again, I don't really have room or need for them at the moment.
Why didn't you grow some radishes in them or something? You know, you could just put them to the side.
Yeah, but I have these for that. I have all these buckets here for growing radishes and stuff that would otherwise have just been thrown away, and they're not nearly as nice looking as the pots out there. So I couldn't really give these away to people. So this is where legality comes into it. It's not, well, other people have had stuff growing outside, other people leave stuff outside. It's as long as you keep to your side and don't protrude into the middle too badly, it's not so much of an issue. It's just more of a community area for access into people's gardens. So it's, in legality wise, we have no bearing on the lane. The council have denied all responsibility of it, so that would probably mean that this is owned by Clinton Devon Estates, which are the people that own pretty much all the land around the outside of the village, and they tend to own little pockets of lands, private roads, lanes, everything like that. So I reckon they would have owned it in the past or own it currently. I'm not quite sure. So I think that is it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand the stream over to Michael so he can just say a few things. If he's got anything to say.
Hello, everyone. So if you haven't already, please hit the like on this video. This is Jimbob's first live stream. I didn't actually put it in the title, but Jimbob's just going to get set up now, I think, to do potentially a sort of chat type thing in his greenhouse. I'm not entirely sure what his plans are. I think that's what he's planning on doing. So hello, everybody. You might have heard me in the background of this video. So how is everybody today? So with everything that's been going on, Jimbob's obviously filled his greenhouse up, as you can all see, and he's hoping that eventually he can try and, like he said in this live stream, get rid of everything outside and potentially get everything sorted out and then have all sorts of growing out there. But I think his mum would like that piece for a garden, and he's just left the live stream, so I don't know what his plan is. 2 minutes, I'll invite him back. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what he's planning on getting me to do. Right, so Jimbob will be back in a minute, hopefully. I think he's just lost signal. So Fish with Bish is here. So this is Jimbob's first live stream, but he's just lost connection from the chat, so it's just me for a minute. Oh, so Bish is saying you can't stop, but dropped a like. Yeah, thank you, Bish. Yeah, I think that was his plan, was to go in the greenhouse and do a evening, like morning chat thing like we used to do. But he just left, so and he isn't joining back. So I'll just message him a minute and see if he wants me to end the live stream or what. I have no idea his plans for this. Yeah, thank you, Bish. You too. Sorry, I'm completely missing the chat now. So the best time to take geranium cuttings, you can take geranium cuttings all year round. Oh, there we go. He's back. There we go. Welcome
Sorry
back,
about that, guys. I accidentally hit leave on the live stream control panel. Right, so I'm back.
So Fish with Bish was here for a minute, but I think he's gone again.
Fish with Bish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a Fish with Bish. Although very temperamental, the setup I've got at the minute. So if I touch it, it will, yeah. What's everybody saying? When is the best time to take geranium cuttings? I've got to be honest with you. I think Michael would be the best person to ask on this question because he takes loads of them, and I'm in low. I've ordered. I had last year I ordered 100 geranium plug plants, and I meant to keep some back for cuttings, but it was that coming autumn, so last autumn, was really, really wet. Like, seriously, it was terrible. You will know. And they all just rotted off, which is really sad. And with these moist conditions and the humid conditions in here, I didn't have any success with geranium cuttings. However, Michael has grown loads of them, and I've had to make the same 100 geranium plug plant order this year. Michael hasn't. He's grown every single one from cuttings, which I'm kind of envious about, really. But there you go.
Yeah, so I said a minute ago, obviously you can take them all year round, but the best time ideally is sort of spring because it's still not too hot, but it's not too cold for them. But you can get away with taking them for the majority of the year. Just avoid sort of the peak of summer. It's just too hot for them then, and they do really struggle because they don't like to be overwatered, but they also don't like to dry out. So that's probably the worst time to take it, but they'd still root. Yeah, so another thing is they need good airflow and humidity, things like that. So, or lack of humidity, sorry. So, the main thing with that is if you've got a cold frame, something like that, that is perfect, but do not let it become humid because, as Jimbob said with his own, they just rot off. So, windowsills or cold frames are probably the best for them because you can take them then pretty much all year round. That's what I find anyway. And Jimbob's gone again. Jimbob, come back. So what's everybody been up to in the garden then lately?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. The wind. Yeah, just.
Yeah, so normal compost is absolutely fine. I just use multi-purpose, but you can use really anything for geraniums. They're quite easy to take root as long as you don't overwater them, don't let them dry out, obviously, and do not let them sit in a humid environment. They'll just rot. But yeah, other than that, they're pretty easy.
So I need a little bit of advice. I've recently just sowed some, you would have seen earlier, some petunia cascade mixed in this plug tray. And I don't know whether I should keep the surface moist, bearing in mind that this vermiculite absorbs a lot of water, or water from below on an insert on a seed like a gravel tray. I don't know what the best option
from above for seeds.
Water above, okay. I'm a bit skeptical as to whether the petunias may rot or would they be okay.
They'd be okay. Just obviously use a rose watering can, so that it doesn't completely knock them out. But I've never had any issues with that. It's mainly fleshy plants that don't like to be watered from above.
Here I have some spider plants that I've rooted. I actually bought the mother plant from Michael.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one's not looking as good as this one. Anyway, the actual plant I bought. Oh my god. I may have just put several cracks in my phone. Let's forget
really?
let's just forget the tripod. There we go. Let's pop that down there. Save that for another video. So I grew them from the mother plant, and unfortunately, my dog decided to pick up the plant and just started carrying it around the house in the pot and got soil everywhere. And so I tried to salvage the plant, but he'd basically eaten it. Me and my dad were thinking, "Oh my life, is it poisonous?" And I mean, if it was, then it's kind of two ways it could go. I mean, it's a positive and negative to that, but no, he's been a real pain at the minute. So we need to sort him out. We've been trying our best to keep him under control. He's not listening to instructions. We've gone on several courses online, actually spent money for online courses, and we've done exactly as they say, and he's just not responding. So I think if anybody has any tips, they will be definitely welcomed. They are fine seeds, so easy to wash away. So, yeah, some petunias. Okay. Yeah, what is that with yeah. Well, there's only a tiny little chip at the corner of the screen. They're actually really hardy. Hardy, that's not the right word. Really strong and tough. It's a hardy perennial. No, they're really tough, these phones, and I would definitely recommend buying the phone I have. I don't know whether I can say it or not, because obviously, just in case, I don't know. Yes, I'll say it anyway. Yeah, I've found that these Samsung phones are actually really tough and durable. Some people say they're not, but
I prefer a Sony, to be honest. These things, they're literally tanks. They're indestructible.
yeah. I mean, you did have a Samsung, and you did say they were fairly tough for a while compared to the leading brand.
Oh no, my Samsung broke in about 2 weeks.
Really? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, mine's been through. Let me think. It's fallen out of the back window of a tractor. Were you there with me? I think so. I don't know. I got distracted. I was on the phone with somebody, and it
Don't think it was me.
Anyway, it fell out of the back of a tractor and hit the PTO. Luckily, we have PTO guards on because we're sensible. It hit the PTO guard, which is plastic. That's fine. And then I dropped it when I was at Michael's house.
Oh yeah.
And it's put like a slice on the screen. It's like a curve, like a half moon.
Yeah, I thought it was that phone.
That's when it wasn't in the case, so that's when I got a bit in trouble. My mum wasn't very happy because it was a Christmas present. It is in a case at the minute. It's in a very good case. A lot of people say it's a bit brittle, but to be honest with you, it's not that
bad. You see how much you can break your phone in a live stream.
Well, it's very tempting. So yeah, if anybody has any tips about these, because I could give them away to somebody, but I don't really know anybody with a greenhouse or with the space that could keep them. I know I could send them to you, Michael, but I know that I might actually do that just because now that you're putting your polysilicon up, you might have just more room for them.
Well, I was going to say, why don't you pop them up and just stick them outside? They'd probably be all right now because they're not going to have any frost.
So you think they'd be all right?
I reckon they'd be all right now. Obviously, if it's going to be a really cold night or really stormy, just bring them in. But they should be fine, to be honest, because lots of people grow geraniums outside in flower baskets and stuff.
Just because they are a little bit stressed. And I think that may because they were outside for a little while, but it was getting really cold.
I think if you pot them up, put them outside, maybe if you've got a bit of bubble wrap, put it over them, or just try and harden them off. I think they'd be all right then, to be honest. Maybe wait till they grow a little bit more if you can store them in the greenhouse for a bit.
Can I store them in? Can I? I was going to say I can't really because, pardon me, I've got lots of seeds to sow, so I need more room for that. I might just plant these directly out into the border.
Yeah, that would probably work. You could probably. I think they're a little bit small, so you might be risking them, but it's better than just chucking them. So, they got two choices.
I mean, if you want them, Michael, you're more than welcome to have them.
I reckon you could probably grow them on outside, to be honest,
Okay.
Jim.
Okay. It's just that there is quite a lot in the tray of 107. No, 100. And when you look at the tray, it doesn't look like it. But actually, when you start filling crates up, yeah, there's quite a lot in there. Especially how many. I mean, it's currently this multi-purpose has.
Depends where you live, Nick. We're all right in Cornwall anyway for frost now. It's really warmed up at the minute.
Yeah, we're fine up here. I mean, we're the next county up in Devon, so we're not got any problems with frost. I think if you lived in North Devon,
then you start to.
You'd be in trouble because it's on high export. But I don't know. We're fine, and this is the East Coast, so I think we'll be all right. It's not the southeast. It's like northeast. That makes sense.
So, Jimbob, out of the seeds you've just bought, are you planning on sowing all of these in your greenhouse?
So some of them I don't have to sow inside.
Okay.
Some of the cabbage I don't have to sow inside, but the majority, yes.
So, are you going to be growing these for yourself, or are these just to sell, or a bit of both?
A bit of both. I will probably keep. I've got 5. Not 5. Sorry, we'll talk about. I've got a packet of early bird corn, sweet corn. I think you've grown them before, have you? I think so.
Early bird, yeah.
Did you grow them from seed or?
No, I think I bought them as little seedlings. I think.
Okay. I don't know how.
They're
how
easy to germinate. I have grown them from seed before now. They're pretty easy to germinate.
Yeah. I think they're fairly hardy as well because farmers direct drill. Oh, that's maize, though, isn't it? Yeah, good point. Sorry.
I didn't have much luck last year when I planted them out.
Okay. I was just thinking, well, farmers direct drill them out into stubble and all the rest of it, but that's not the varieties that I'm using. So
no, it's a different thing.
A different crop as well. It's maize.
Try it, and then if you can get, but yours is an F1, so you can't even save the seed from it. What you want to do is get a heirloom variety. Yeah, I remember the video. It said F1.
Oh yes, it did.
And obviously, because you can't save seed, but if you can get one that you can save the seed of, that will be a good plant.
What is the deal with F1? Because I don't get it.
F1, they're basically a hybrid, but if you try and save the seed from them, it won't be true, and it'll be an inferior plant to the variety you had grown from it. So the best thing to do with F1 is stop buying them, really, because you can't save the seed from them, which obviously you've then got to keep buying new seed each year. Whereas if you get an heirloom variety or just a regular sweet corn variety, you can save the seed, saving yourself money and then lowering your carbon footprint as well.
So that is another thing. I didn't have much option when it came to that. It was that or mini pop sweet corn F1. So they didn't have any others in stock. And that's the same with cabbage tundra F1. I picked that variety because I really like the veg from that particular variety. I really like the cabbage. And it's a small price to pay, £1.50. So I just decided for a lot of seeds.
And another thing, if you can save your own seed, the seeds then slowly adapt to your climate.
Yeah.
So eventually they'd be really good at growing in your garden as well.
That's what I mean. I've bought a tomato variety, an old English tomato variety, and that was the main reason that actually when I sell the product, I know people are going to be able to plant it outside and they're not going to have any problem. Nick is saying he's growing most of his veg at home now. He's brought all the seedlings back from the allotments in case I'm stopped from going out. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, in France and Spain, my auntie and uncle that live in France, they are not allowed to leave the village, and there's only one person allowed in a car. It's really, they've really taken action on it. In Ireland, they can't go to the I don't know, Laura. I don't know whether, because would that apply to Northern Ireland? Because not quite sure.
We've now been live for 39 minutes. We've got 5 people here, but only 4 likes. So if you haven't already, please hit the like.
Thank you for that reminder, Michael. I always forget to do it because I don't know. It just feels a bit weird to. Oh yeah, please do hit the like. It will be really appreciated. What else have I got? Oh yeah, I forgot to do that actually.
Are you going to show us your indoor plants?
No.
Okay.
Because they're not doing very well at the minute. They're in that room up there, and they're in a shelf. They're on a shelf, but it's really messy in that room. And that's not my bedroom. That's the spare bedroom up there. or one of the spare bedrooms. So it's kind of. What is this plant here? This is really interesting. If anybody has any clue, then please let me know. It's really
Try and get the camera to. It looks like rosemary.
no,
But
it's not. It's like
the
a
camera isn't
fern.
really focusing, so I can't really see.
It's a soft fern. There's a flower.
Have you got that plant net on your phone?
I need to download that. I need to free up some
You
storage.
get that plant net. Any other gardeners, plant net. I highly recommend it. Pretty much every week there's a plant that I find. Don't know what it is. Plant net. Use it. You can take a picture of the leaf, the fruit, the habitat, the leaves, and there's another one. And it's really
Flowers.
good for identifying the plant. It's amazing. So it will tell you all of the plants that look mildly similar to it. Then you sort of just go through until you find the one that looks most like it.
Just gonna miss down these.
So Malcolm is saying they'll have to go to the allotment because they've got chickens there. How many chickens have you got?
Oh wow, you've got chickens. That's really interesting. I need to check out your YouTube channel. I don't believe we've I've met you
No, I
before.
don't believe I've seen Malcolm's channel before. I'll check that out after the live stream.
Right, that's that done. It is fairly windy. A minute, I was told that there's going to be some high winds. This is the product I'm using for my seeds.
Malcolm's saying he's got 14 chickens at the allotment.
Yeah, some kind of heather. Perhaps. I think it could be.
Yeah, it's sort of, I can't really see it that well, but it does look like it could be a heather or something like that. It is.
Malcolm's saying he's got 14 chickens. That's interesting. So, are they all egg layers, or do you keep any for? So, do you keep any back for rearing more eggs? If that makes sense, not rearing. For producing more eggs. So, do you keep any replacements back, or do you just? So, do you have fertilized eggs, or do you just have?
You try to ask if he has a cockerel.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying, Michael. Well done. Nick's saying it's the Republic of Ireland, not Northern Ireland. He thinks. Okay, that's good. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I just think that at the minute we've been fairly slow to react on the old coronavirus. It took the government several meetings to actually decide a plan. But you know, we're getting there. It's not ideal by any means, but we're just gonna have to make the best of it. So what else? Oh, I have used this product here, this weed killer that is glyphosate free. Roundup do their own glyphosate free version, but I kind of don't really trust Roundup anymore after watching a documentary about it. So I've decided to make the switch to a glyphosate free weed killer. And gradually, I'm going to be going completely organic. One day, I am moving to a more sustainable system. But this
You
is
want to try
the first step.
You want to try and grow comfrey then, because that's got really deep tap roots that pull nutrients up from really deep below the soil. Then you make comfrey tea with it from the leaves.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Have you still got those daffodils on the wall?
On the wall?
Yeah.
Where?
You had a load of daffodils on the wall on, I think it was your last, the video before the garden tour that you did.
Daffodils on the wall. I don't think so. I haven't seen any actually. Oh wait, hang on a minute. Oh no, it's behind the polytunnel. There's nothing back there. So this is what I have on growing on the wall. It's some sort of wild flower, but it seems to be incredibly invasive. This.
Yeah, I thought you had like lots of potted daffodils or something that you said had been damaged by the wind, and you weren't sure if they'd come back.
Oh yes, them. Yes, sorry, I thought you. Sorry, yeah, they've been sold.
Oh, good.
Somebody took the whole lot, which was really good. They did bounce back. They started to shoot flowers up, and they're looking really nice in their garden. So I can't wait to get my shelves up actually, because as you can see, they're starting to rust a bit here. So how many people are in the live? I don't think I can see.
5
here.
people
5.
currently.
Okay, very good. So I think maybe in a few minutes I'm going to just wrap it up, because it is starting to get a bit dark, and I think my tea will be ready soon.
Yeah, Laura, for fertilizer, not for drinking.
Yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to drink.
I have seen the bottles of comfrey tea. Well, it's called comfrey plant food. I've seen for sale, but I haven't bought any because it's usually been for a 1 litre bottle between £10 and £15, and that price kind of scared me away. Considering the fact that I'm selling a lot of my plants, I would say 90%, to make that kind of investment is significant. My phone is down to 5%, so I think we will have to call it, end it soon. So has anybody got any tips for growing some begonias? I tried to grow them last year to no avail, and I don't know whether anybody else has had any success with begonias.
I have
don't
no
know
luck.
Me, they just didn't germinate for me.
No, mine don't either.
It's a real shame.
I think I've had them germinate once, and they got literally tiny little leaves, then all just died.
I had about 3 or 4 germinate from king seeds, and then the one I bought from Deree, just nothing.
It's actually you had really good success from king seeds in your video earlier.
Sorry?
I thought you said you had really good success from king seeds in your video you made earlier.
I do have really good success with king seeds.
That time.
Well, I did. Well, 4 came up. Then they just, they didn't live, unfortunately. I don't know what happened with them, but I came to my greenhouse one day, and I think slugs, that's when I started to fight back against slugs, and I purchased some slug killer. And later this year, after reading an article about some of the ingredients about the slug killer, I've actually bought some Vitax slug wool pellets, and they like form a band around the top of the top of the compost, and actually stop slugs from from going up on there, because they hate the surface. So Nick's saying begonias are very tiny seeds, better from plugs or corms. Uh-oh. Just heard a noise. I don't know if that's what I think it is. At the back here. No, he's still there. No, you can't see him. My dog has been let out into this little courtyard bit. So
Your dog.
Sorry?
Can you show us your dog?
No, because it's on 1%. So I'm afraid, guys, gonna have to call it quits here. I'm really sorry. And I'm genuinely serious about that. It is on 1%. It's on 0%.
All right, well, thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.